Hey, welcome back to another episode of From the Trenches. Today I'm going to be talking about how I made 10K a month while traveling in my 20s. And I want to share with you guys the three things that I learned that actually helped me set up to actually do this, because you have to have some things in place if your goal is really to travel and have fun and experience and adventure while you're making money while you're still young and have the ability to do that. So let's dive in. Guys, if you are new to the show, this is From the Trenches. Like I said, this is what I'm going to be talking about today. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Sam. I went from six different jobs that I hated, just kind of bouncing around, just feeling super frustrated and stuck, to eventually finding my dream opportunity in high ticket sales. I got to 30K a month with that. And then that allowed me to travel the world, start my own company that I scaled to $1 million a year. Now I mentor people to build their own freedom through this YouTube channel, social media, and a private community that I have as well. So for the agenda, what we do from the trenches is we hit these three things: updates that I'm working on, questions from my channel, and also obviously the topic that we're going to be hitting on. So just a couple quick updates, things that I've been working on over the last week. I actually started learning how to run ads. So, I've managed like media buyers in the past. Media buyer is just a fancy word for running ads. But this is the first time I'm actually running the ads myself, since I made some changes with the company and trimmed down the team to just myself and my assistant. I'm learning how to do the different functions that I hadn't done before. So what I was reminded of in learning to do media buying is it sounds very like scary and complicated. Maybe you're an expert media buyer. You're probably not, if you're watching this. So maybe it sounds complicated to you. It was scary and overwhelming to me. And what I was reminded of is, no matter what the thing is, no matter what the step in front of you, whether that's landing your dream position, whether that's starting a business, it always feels, or for me doing media buying, it always feels scary and overwhelming. And there's like this fear and these limiting beliefs around it. And my limiting beliefs, my fear was like, oh, it's so complicated, like the pixels and the retargeting, the audiences, all this stuff. And I'm not like a technical person, so I'm not going to be able to do this. Like, I'm not very organized, whatever. Had all those limiting beliefs that came up. But what I found is when I just started doing it, it was much more manageable than all the fears and doubts that I made it up to be in my head. So I hope that's helpful for you. And I think that that'll be insightful to apply that to whatever you're trying to do. So yeah, I just share these insights on like what I'm working on and what I'm being reminded of or learning, because that's been what's most valuable for me, like working with some of my mentors, just very real, raw, over the shoulder, like insights into their life and what they're working on. So, yeah, only other update for me, we actually, my wife and I are going to be going on a trip we just committed to going on a trip next month to a mastermind in Florida. So I'm super excited for that. I've done obviously a ton of traveling in the past, but this is the first time that we're going since my daughter was born, and she's almost one. So this is the first time we're going to go as a family. Like, I'll be working and like, networking, connecting with people, but the family will kind of get to be doing it with me. So I'm super excited about that, because this is kind of a new stage of life, and it'll be really fun and exciting to see her be able to do that with us for the first time. So next up, let's hit on some questions. So we'll just jump into the channel here. I don't see any questions, any new questions. So if you guys have a question on, traveling, how to make money, how to break out of your 9 to 5, how to set up your budget, how to build financial freedom, just drop it in the comments of this video here. And I always try to answer all of the questions that you guys put in here. So if you have questions, put them in there. I'm happy to help. So let's dive into today's topic: how I made 10K a month while traveling in my 20s, and the three things that helped. Well, obviously, as you saw from my intro, I actually have gotten well beyond the 10K a month, but the 10K a month is what fits best in the YouTube description. So that's why it says that. On average, while I was traveling, probably our company did, maybe low months were like 40 or 50, but we did anywhere between maybe like 60 to 120 was kind of the range. So I want to just give you guys some practical insights and tips of like the things that helped me actually start traveling while making money, and like not having to like, just quit my job and do nothing, but like do something I'm excited and passionate about while I'm traveling, and living the lifestyle that I want. Because that's really what was the most exciting for me, is like, yeah, you can just like go and just, be on vacation, but it's like, how long is that really going to last? You're going to get bored. Like, for me, I like to be working on things. I like to be learning, growing, challenging myself. So just to give you context, like on my definition of traveling, there's a lot of different, kind of like, ideas of what this is. The traditional thing is like, traveling is like you go on vacation, right? So it's like you take a week off, or maybe 2 weeks off if you're lucky, and then you go somewhere and you stay there for a week, and then you come back and start working your job again. I don't really like that at all, truthfully, because you're typically you don't have that much time, and you're just kind of rushing there, you're rushing back, whatever. And I've done that sometimes, and that's fine, for depending on the situation, right? Like the trip that I'm doing for the mastermind in Florida, that is going to be a short, like 5-day trip. So it's a little bit different, but my ideal version of traveling, like what I did a lot and what I love to do, is going to an inspiring place that you stay for anywhere from like 2 to 6 months. Because if you're just going for a week, it's really hard to like set up, get to know people, like make connections, find out where the good local stuff is, and really experience the place. Like if you're only going for a couple days, what I found is like you kind of just like you do like the touristy things, and it's like, oh, we took a picture of the Eiffel Tower, yay, or we saw the Great Pyramid of whatever, right? But it's like that's the thing that everybody does, and you just walk past it and like that's it. But like if you really want to like get to know people and like find out what the like secret local cool things are to do, and like those fun experiences that like 95% of people, first off, most people don't get to travel there at all. Then secondly, 95% of the people that do travel there are just in and out in a few days, and they never actually find the secret like hidden gems that are so cool to do. So I like to go for 3 to 6 months. It allows you to 2 to 6 months. It allows you like set up, get in a rhythm of working while you're there, and then it's like you get to work on during the day, like work on what you're passionate about. Because like I said, I like to always like to have something I'm working on that I'm challenging that myself with, that I'm growing with and making money with. And then it's like the day's over, and it's like I can shut the laptop, I can go out and enjoy the beach, or like walk around the city, or whatever that may be. So just that's kind of giving context on like what I think of when it comes to travel. So 3 things that helped me do this. I would just break it down to number 1, vehicle. Number 2, network. Number 3, time management. So these were kind of 3 things that helped me the most. Number 1 is like you have to actually have a vehicle, right? And what I mean by when I say vehicle is like you have to have a mechanism, a channel, a vehicle to actually generate income while you're traveling, right? Wherever you want to go. So that might be like, oh yeah, obviously, duh. But most people like never even get to that point. So I have some other videos on this channel of like how to figure out your path and like what's the best fit for you. Like I talk about directionally correct accuracy. It's like you may not know, oh, I want to do this specific job or this specific business, but it's like you have to know like where do I want to be in 20 years, and then like I like generally I want to be in business, or I want to be in real estate, I want to be in coaching, whatever. And then it's like you can kind of put points on the board towards that are directionally correct in that area. So it's like you just have to have a way to generate income and to work online. You could like, save up at your job for months and months and then quit. But it's like, even if you did that, then you go and like, you're basically just on vacation because you don't have a vehicle, you don't have a method, something to work on, a business or a remote position or whatever. So, or even like a freelancer type setup, because you kind of have like, you have like 9 to 5 job, which is like in-person traditional, obviously not super great. I don't love that. And then you have like remote position, which is like online, but it's still kind of like 9 to 5 esque, where it's like maybe more corporate or whatever, not as much like flexibility, which is still great, like a remote position. And then you have like freelancer, solo operator esque, which is like not quite a business, but where maybe you're working with a team, maybe you're like a subcontractor or a 1099 with a company, but you're not like an employee. You're not like a remote. It's not like a remote job. It's like freelancer where you kind of control your own schedule. You can do your own projects, and you have control, but you're not like running a full business where you have to have like all this legal stuff and setup and websites and all that stuff. So, and then obviously you have like running an actual business where you're like full on building it from the ground up. So I probably recommend, like, if you're just getting started, go for that like between remote position and like freelancer level, because that's honestly going to be your best bet to get started. And then like if you want to do business, then you can kind of leverage the skills you built like getting to that level and use that to get into business as like your next step. But that's like a good safe step. If you try to go from like 9 to 5 job to like running your own business, that's like a big step. That's like level 1 to level 10. You probably fall in between and like crash and burn. I recommend going for like a level 3 or level 5, which is like kind of those two that I talked about in the middle. That'll kind of help you grow and like give you a path to run on, but not be too much of a jump that it's crazy. Because even just doing those two things, like the growth that you have to challenge yourself, to learn skills, to face your fears of quitting your job and whatever, to like land a remote position or do a freelancer thing where you're in control of your own income, is a lot. Like that is actually pretty difficult in and of itself, just to learn how to like manage yourself and face those fears. So that's what I would recommend first. And obviously I have other videos on this channel, like what I talk about. My main thing that I have done and like help people with is selling high ticket services online. You have setter roles, you have closer roles, you have end to end, you have DM setter. In that space is like, those are the main ones that I focus on. So that's the right vehicle. Once you have a vehicle, it's like, look for somebody that's already doing what you're trying to do or like has proven results in the thing, and then just model them. That's like the strategy that I've used. Is they always say like you can tell who the pioneers are because they're laying face down in the dirt and they have arrows sticking up out of their back, right? And that's like your classic first time entrepreneur where they're like, oh, I have this crazy idea and I'm gonna go start this thing. But it's like, if it's not a proven model, if it hasn't really worked before, like don't risk your first shot on something brand new that's like pretty out there. Instead, it's like, find someone who's making the money that you want to make or has the lifestyle that you want, or is the type of like, the lifestyle you want or the money that you want to make. They're already doing it successfully. Just try to model them and be successful with that. And then it's like, once you learn the fundamentals of, making money, self-discipline, sales, marketing, all that stuff, then you can go out and try to start your own thing. So I think that pretty well covers it on the vehicle. Next up we'll dive into is the network. Actually, and I'm going to see if I can find a photo real quick of some of the traveling that I did. Okay, so I just popped into my Instagram here, and the one photo that I was thinking of specifically was when I traveled to Medellin, Colombia, and we went paragliding. I think it's paragliding, parasailing. I always get those mixed up. But anyway, it's basically just this big kite, and you like fly around. So this was like up at the top of the mountain. And basically you like literally just like run off the mountain. And you have the guide or like the guy that actually knows how to fly the thing with you. But it's like this big kite, and you basically just like run. They're like, okay, go. And you just run off the mountain. And then like it catches wind, the kite picks up, and then you just like float down the mountain over this like city that was there. So this one was crazy. We did another one too where the wind was so strong, like they just flew around and then you landed back at the same spot. But this one here specifically, you like the wind wasn't as strong, so you just like coasted down the mountain and they picked you up in this little like town. in a pickup truck, and we rode back in the back of the pickup truck. So that was epic. But anyway, that's one of the places I traveled to. Medellin, Colombia, Miami. I was there for a little bit. Barbados, Bahamas, Playa del Carmen. I'm trying to think if I'm missing any. But long story short, with some of the traveling that I did, the thing that was the most helpful for me was the network, right? Like as I don't know if I have any photos with some of the guys that I went down with, but if you actually have a network of people, it makes it so much easier to travel because you are going to some place or some person that already knows, like they already know what the area is like and like the best spots and whatever. Because one of the most challenging things when you go to travel is like, okay, where's the best part of town? Where are the best, like, you know, how do I make sure that I'm like close to the gym, close to a co-working spot, or like, you know, you're not in a sketchy area or whatever, especially if you're going like to another country. Like if you're just going to the US, like it's probably not that big of a deal. But if you really want to go somewhere like awesome and that's like kind of stretch yourself a little bit, having connections and networks is super key. So for me, most of the places that I went to, it was because I was connected with someone that was already there and I was going to meet them or stay with them or like be in an area where they were at. So they already knew like the best chefs, right? Like we had and this might seem like crazy out there, but like in some of the, you know, in some of the other countries that we were in, it's really not that expensive to get like pre-made meals. So like they had chefs that like they connected me with that pre-made our meals, like people that would come and do your laundry, like where the best restaurants are, the best gyms, whatever. And instead of having to like find all that stuff from scratch, you can immediately go, you have people there to hang out with and to connect with, which is awesome. You know the best areas to be in, and then you know like the right amenities to use rather than like trying to start from scratch. And again, even just knowing what cities and what areas to go to, like in the world, is hard enough because there's so many places. And then narrowing it down to like a city, and then narrowing it down to like what area of the city and like what amenities and whatever. So network is key. The biggest way that I built my network was through different coaching programs and mentorships that I joined, business masterminds, coaching programs. So specifically for that Colombia trip, it was with some guys that I was friends with online from a mastermind coaching program that we were both a part of, and then we met up in that area and did the trip together. But they were actually down there and had experience being down there before, so it kind of paved the path for that and made that a little bit easier. So anyway, hope that is insightful. Again, travel is really alarm coming up. I had to wrap. I'll hit this last one here real quick. But I hope that's insightful for you, but also inspiring, because like it is seriously so fun to travel, and I'm getting excited about this trip that we have coming up in Florida, because like it will stretch you, it will get you out of your comfort zone, going to new places, meeting new people, getting around other people that have big goals, that have big dreams. Like you have to get inspired about what you're trying to do, right? There's a verse in the Bible that says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." So it's like if you have no vision, you're gonna perish, right? Like if you're just like, oh, I'm just doing the grind, I'm just trying to pay the bills, whatever. If you're so focused on that and you have no bigger vision, no bigger like insight for what you want to do, it's always just going to be more of that. So it's not always the time to travel. Like you don't want to just be, always, in different countries, going from place to place. I know people that have done that, and like I've experienced, like you get to a point where you kind of burn out from it, or like it gets to be too chaotic. But that's why that like 2 to 6 month stint where you can get expired, or even shorter than that. Like if you can't afford it, or if you don't, have the capacity to do something like that, you can just do a month. You can just do, the normal like a week or two or whatever. But like go out, have fun, experience it, get inspired, level up, and then come back and do like grind mode is what I found to be the most valuable and helpful. But it's critical to like find something that's inspiring, find something that is exciting for you, put it on the calendar, give yourself a deadline. Okay, I'm going here, I'm doing this, and then you just make it happen. But like you have to start with a vision, you have to start with a plan. If you don't ever make the plan and set a deadline, it doesn't happen. Last thing I'll hit on real quick is time management. because I am running behind. I have another meeting coming up. But time management wise, so yeah, the third thing is the time management aspect, because you have to have a vehicle, a way to make money. You have to have the network. In my opinion, makes it so much easier to travel, and more fun because you're going to like hang out with cool people and be around people that inspire you. And then thirdly is time management, because if you are, maybe some people just have tons of money and it's like you can just, go and not even work or whatever, or don't want to work. But for me, even if you, whether you have money or not, I like to work and have something to work on. And if you have cash flow coming in, like if you're making money, it makes it so much easier to like relax and have fun and enjoy the time that you're there. So time management is critical, because this is more like honestly attention management and like energy management, discipline management. Because a lot of times when people go on vacation, like they totally check out, they're not focused, they're not productive. And especially if you go to a new area, it's like it's inspiring, it's exciting, but it's also can be distracting. It can be like kind of like crazy because you're like, okay, I'm in this new area. Your brain's trying to like calibrate it, whatever. So having the right time management is super critical. One of the things that helped for me is, like I'm saying, starting with the network. It's like when I get there, I immediately I know what gym I'm going to. I know where to get food. I know like, what amenities are needed. And I'm already starting with that from day one. I have that planned and like those connections made before I go. And then when I get there, all I have to do is like spend a few days getting in my new routine. Making sure your morning routine is dialed in, and making sure like, again, where to work out and how to work, where to go and whatever. So that you can kind of get in a normal flow. I like to like still get work days in, and then go out and have fun on the evenings. Or it's like you could work 3 days hardcore and then take 4 days off. Like you can do it however you want, but you have to be really diligent about managing your time, or it's not going to be effective. Like you might be there and you might be having fun, but you're not actually going to make money and like actually build something meaningful, and have something you're passionate about that you're working on and productive with while you're there. So that's it for this video, guys. I got to jump. Hope this is valuable. Hope this is helpful. Drop a like, drop a subscribe, drop a comment if you found any value in this. Appreciate y'all. Keep chasing dreams and make it happen.